Welcome, one and all, to episode 14 of Pressing Buttons, now with more video. I'm Hugo,
I'm Nick.
and we're glad that you're joining us on another wonderful episode of Pressing Buttons. And like I just said in the intro, we're happy to say that we are now also recording video, which is available on our YouTube channel. We threw it in as a bit of a surprise on last week's episode. Didn't really give any warning except in the intro. We should have done it in the episode, but we wanted to test it out and see how it was going. And I think we got a pretty good reception on the video. We're going to be also doing some extra little shorts in there, and it's going to be good for when we do some traveling and we go to some conventions and stuff. So definitely make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel and you get our faces as well. Big surprise.
Big win.
Yeah, you can finally see what we look like, and maybe you're right, and we look like what you thought we looked like, or maybe you're wrong, and we look totally different. um, and then the other thing we wanted to say is, the Discord is still up. Anybody that wants to join, I would say jump on in. We're a very growing community. You know how much I love numbers. We are so far up to 32 members. So the more people we get, the better the community is. I think we're doing a good job. Nick and I have been hanging out in there. We keep it lively. A lot of people love talking in there and grouping up and playing games and stuff like that. So definitely jump in the Discord and say hi.
It's the new home of the weekly game night that we do. So it's
There
been
you
great.
go. Come on in, recommend some games, play some games, and then you might get a shout out in the podcast. Your name out there in the bright lights. And then also one last thing, welcome France. We have received some new listeners from France, another country on the list, baby. We're moving on up. But yeah. And then one little special treat to get you guys going so you can come in and check out the YouTube videos. We're going to be recording Pets of Pressing Buttons short, and it's going to be Nick showing his lovely dog and me showing my lovely cat. So those aren't euphemisms. it's
Oh my god.
it's our pets, guys. It's our pets. But yeah, we're gonna be taking a little bit a video of our pets, which we're gonna put up on the YouTube so you guys can see the pets that we have. And then also, if you wanna send some videos of your pets on the Pressing Buttons Discord, you're welcome to. We love all pets.
Gamer buddies.
Yeah, they're there with us when we're going through adventures and also yelling and throwing shit at the TV screen. So, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I've made reference to my dog Boba a few times on the podcast. So I figured now that we have video, why not just show the world what he looks like?
Yeah. And
And he's much cooler to look at than me. So I figured
yeah,
why not?
a little bit hairier too. And Spooky is ready to be on the spotlight. He's ready to be a star. So make sure you check us out on YouTube. It should be up on Monday, the little short, and hopefully you enjoy that. All right. So we're gonna move on to our first topic. First thing we want to talk about this week is Unreal Engine 5. We had Epic Games. They made a keynote presentation on their Unreal Engine 5. It's been out for a bit, I guess early access since November, sometime like that. I know they released it with Fortnite. Fortnite was the first full game to get access to it, and you can kind of see all the work that they've put into this new iteration of the engine. But they basically just went on a keynote showing the developers that are going to be using Unreal Engine 5, what they've been using, all the assets that you can get, a lot of them for free that they've partnered with other companies to be able to download assets. If you're a big game developer, it's definitely one of the go-to engines that a lot of the companies use. And then also it's one of the easiest ones that they make to be able to just get everything up and running. Um, what impressed you from the stats that they showed, Nick? From all the companies that they're working with? Anything in particular that caught your eye?
Yeah, the keynote was targeted, definitely towards game developers and creators. But I thought there was a few nuggets in there that I thought was interesting more to people who or just gamers. The one, maybe the probably the most interesting thing was them releasing a game called Lyra, which they've uh, coined it as a starter game. So it's basically something that you can download and open within Unreal Engine, and then build kind of on top of it. Some sort of other game that you want to build. So it's kind of cool that it's going to give you something to start with. It's a multiplayer experience, like what they showcased. Basically looked like an online shooter type game with matchmaking and all that. So I don't know. I'm debating. And the other thing that's like nice about Unreal Engine is it's free to free to start with at least. So I've downloaded it and played around with it in the past. Um, and it's a pretty steep learning curve. So I think for me, it's like, okay, maybe I'll give it another download. I'll have the starter game to start with, and maybe that'll be helpful for me to like actually build my own game at some point. So I thought that was super cool. I want to give that a try. Uh, the other thing was they put a specific number out there in terms of the number of developers who are actively using Unreal Engine for next gen games that have already been announced, and that's 48%. So I thought that was, I'm a numbers guy, so that's a pretty big number. That's basically half of all games currently being developed for next gen using this engine. Uh, I was wondering whether we think that's basically like as good as it's ever going to get, or if that's actually just going to continue to grow as seemingly like just more and more developers are choosing that as their tool of choice. So I kind of wonder where that kind of caps out. So um,
Well, my biggest takeaway, I think, from watching the keynote, it's about 37 minutes. I think it's all good information. Obviously, like you said, if you're a developer, it's more geared towards you. Um, I think it's just from even from a plain, casual like me, just looking at it, I can see how the ease of use that Epic has worked on every version of their engine, and why it's so popular and why so many studios choose to adopt it instead of going with their own engines or paying more money to use a different engine. The ease of use, the resources available for like the environment stuff like that, and then just the like you said the Lyra, the starter game that they have with the engine, that you can kind of essentially go in there and kind of customize it to however you want it. And I think I'm not a big creative person, I would say, in terms of like making a game or something like that, but I do love seeing people create the games. That's why I think something like this, and then you have Dreams for PlayStation, which if you're not familiar with, it's basically a video game creation tool. Not even video game, it's just a creation tool that's on PlayStation, that a lot of people have done wonderful projects with. So seeing stuff like that on Unreal Engine and on Dreams, I think it's wonderful. It's good to see the process. It's good to see what people can create with these tools. So I mean, I'm looking forward to the future. 48% of games, I think, like you said, I don't think that's the threshold. I think it'll grow, obviously. We are very early into this generation of video game consoles, and even PC games. So I think there's definitely a lot of room to grow in terms of more studios using the engine. And like you said, you have these studios using it already, big studios like Remedy and Xbox and PlayStation. So I know with that, they announced Crystal Dynamics announced the next Tomb Raider. It's weird because you don't really get any announcements for video games in these type of things, but Crystal Dynamics announced that they're working on the next Tomb Raider, which I played two of the three for the remake of Tomb Raider, and I thought they were wonderful. A little bit of mix of Uncharted with great dialogue and combat and stuff like that. Great use of a bow in a video game. So I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. And from the looks of it, it's going to look really, really great. And then you also have, like we talked about it last week, CD Projekt Red also did like a little short interview in there talking about them utilizing the Unreal Engine. So it's definitely something that it makes easier for the developers to use, and it's in everybody's mind. So it's not going to go away.
Yeah.
Unreal Engine
Yeah.
is for everybody.
Yeah. So they made the announcement. Yeah, we talked a little bit about it during last week's episode, and then there was a segment where they went in a little bit more detail around kind of why they went down that path, and uh, they really just emphasized open world games. So not that's that surprising, but the new Witcher saga, it's going to be a giant open world, and I think it just became clear to them that they'll be better off building an open world game inside of Unreal Engine versus trying to develop and maintain their own proprietary engine. So yeah, I guess that's the reason. Maybe not so surprising, but
Yeah.
did they want to
And
build more open world games?
I mean, that tech demo that they showed, it did look like a next gen Witcher game. Just the atmosphere and the environment looked
Yeah,
looked like it could be a new Witcher. So I'm excited to see what's going to come of it. And then one thing you we did talk about that you mentioned to me was how Xbox Studios is adopting Unreal Engine for a lot of their studios to use. But surprisingly, you have Starfield coming out from Bethesda, and you also have Elder Scrolls 6 coming out, and those are going to be using the Creation Engine. Um, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that eventually they're going to switch to use more Unreal Engine, or you think they put too much work in the Creation Engine to kind of throw it away and switch out?
yeah. I think so. They've already made statements that, well, for Starfield, like it's absolutely Creation Engine 2. Um, that's been in deep development for a number of years. I actually don't know on Elder Scrolls 6. I think they've announced that they are going to use Creation Engine 2. I don't know exactly where they're at and the development process, where maybe there's a chance where they could maybe switch over if they think that they would be better off, moving forward with Unreal Engine 5. We just don't know, but I think again, because Bethesda, particularly with Fallout, soon to be Starfield, and Elder Scrolls, have really kind of pioneered some of these open, like basically the open world genre. So to me, that's pretty big. If at some point in the future they actually also adopt Unreal Engine, they basically like throw in the towel and they're just like, okay, we'll never be able to compete with Unreal Engine, and we're giving up on our own proprietary stuff. So I don't think it's going to happen with their next couple titles, but I think maybe beyond that, maybe there's like a switch over that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like you said, they pioneered the genre, open world with Skyrim and Fallout, um, but I don't think they've really evolved the genre. You have Breath of the Wild, you have Elden Ring, you have other
I
video
was waiting for you to
games.
say Elden Ring. I
Yeah,
was like, is he
I
gonna
had
say
it in
Elden
my
Ring
mind.
or
It's just too much on my mind. Yeah,
yeah?
they've evolved the genre. You have The Witcher. So many of these new games that are coming out that are open world, you can see that they brought a lot of new things into the open world genre, whereas Bethesda Studios has kind of stayed back. They really haven't made anything innovative. So we'll have to see with Starfield coming out and whenever Elder Scrolls comes out, if they do offer something new. Because honestly, like Skyrim wasn't for me, Elder Scrolls wasn't for me, Fallout wasn't for me. And I don't know, it just felt too old and clanky to me. I mean, I guess yeah, the stories are great, different branches and stuff like that, and different outcomes. But you also have, I think you have to hold everything together. The graphics have to be good, the gameplay have to be good, the story have to be good to keep innovating. Whereas I think they kind of haven't innovated the open world genre as much as these new games that have come out have done. So we'll see. We'll see. Starfield November is what they're saying, which I think you said
Yeah,
it's in
I
mind.
there's no way. I know it's. I will. I mean, I would love for that to happen, but I think that's gonna be tough. I mean, we haven't seen anything
Yeah. No, they
Like,
did like a 10-second video or something recently.
nah. I
But yeah,
mean,
that's not very.
like in terms of like actual like gameplay and
Yeah.
so
If they don't show anything by the summer when, we're expecting a lot
it
of
could.
announcements to come out and stuff like that, I don't think it'll come out this year.
Yeah, I could see
Also,
that being like a headline at Summer Game Fest or something like that.
yeah, also that saves you because I know you have Starfield as being one of like your big stinkers that are gonna come out, from our, I believe it was our first or second episode where
I think it's gonna be a stinker.
a big old stinker. Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see.
which I think
Time will
would
tell.
reinforce like why maybe at some point they were like, okay, let's exactly what CD Projekt Red's doing. They're like, let's just focus on making the game. Let's stop focusing on the underlying technical infrastructure to build the game. Um, I could see Bethesda doing the exact same thing.
All right.
Yep.
Uh, and then the next big bit of news that we wanted to talk about was Epic Games in collaboration with Lego making a new game. It's going to be focused on the children and families, something along the lines of Roblox. Now, I was very surprised by this just because it took so long for Lego to come up with something like this, especially how massively popular Roblox has been, and Roblox being like a different version of Legos. Um, Lego themselves are known for making a lot of uh, good franchise games. Like I know they made a lot of Lego Star Wars, which are good. They also had the Lego Movie game and stuff like that. So just what's more surprising to me in this is that it took so long. I figured this would have been done a couple months, years ago, uh, just because why not? It's gonna be printing gold or
Yeah,
making gold,
they.
not printing gold.
I can't remember the timeline. I do know. I think it was called Lego Worlds. Was a game that they did, which I think is no longer really being supported. But I think they tried to do a version of this, but it wasn't
Yeah,
exactly what kind of everyone was hoping it would be. So I think this is their latest take on more of like a sandbox, open world. I guess now you got to call it a metaverse experience. Um, but yeah, they're seeing exactly the success of Roblox. Roblox has been growing like crazy. It's people love it. Um, so that's how I read it, where it's like they're doing exactly a Roblox type experience, leveraging the Lego brand, and yeah, I wonder if there's any kind of benefits with like all the other IP crossovers that they do. So I could see this being wildly successful. I think Epic makes sense as a partner. Just again, open worlds and metaverse experiences. I think Fortnite is probably the if you try to define like what a metaverse experience is, like I would say Fortnite is a
yeah.
version of that, and they're a market leader. So I think they're a strong partner for sure. So I'm actually pretty excited about this to see how this could evolve. I don't really actively buy Legos or anything like that, but I do like Legos. I did enjoy a couple of the games, say like Lego Star Wars, the Lego Movie game. I had fun with. So just a expanded version of that and building and IP crossovers. I mean, what more do you need?
I think you hit the nail right on the head when you said metaverse, because if you say metaverse, I would think of what Epic has done with Fortnite and just all the universes, intellectual properties, IPs that they have in there. It's so expansive. I think even more so than Facebook. I think uh, they're the more metaverse forward company. And then the same thing could be said for Lego. Lego has access to all these intellectual properties because you can pretty much get a Lego set of anything. You could get like a Jurassic Park Lego set, you could get a Seinfeld Lego set, you could get a Halo Lego set, Star Wars Lego set. You could get all these things in Legos. So I think it's a perfect marriage of two companies to work on this. They're definitely going to be using all those intellectual properties in the game on whatever game that comes out, and people will be building their own universes. It'll be good. This is a metaverse that I'm excited to see what it looks like. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. It's still pretty far off, so we'll just keep you updated if any news comes out. But interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. And then moving on, we want to talk about Max Payne remakes. Remedy announced that in conjunction with Rockstar, they're going to be remaking Max Payne 1 and 2. Nick had mentioned it earlier in our Unreal Engine talk, but we wanted to take its own little segment and kind of talk about it more. We really didn't play Max Payne 1 and 2 that much. I played a little bit. I know the gist of the story. I saw the movie. Movie was bad. Do not watch the movie. Mark Wahlberg
Is that what
sucks
it's Mark
in it.
Wahlberg? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do not watch the movies. Anyways, I know Remedy, great studio. I've played Control. I'm looking to play Alan Wake Part 1 before Part 2 comes out. I'm excited to see what it's going to look like, how it's going to play differently from the original. Um, Even so, because I know Rockstar developed Max Payne 3 without Remedy Studios. I forget which studio ended up being the developers on there, but it was a whole different game. Whereas the 1 and 2 was very like sci-fi mystery. There was some sci-fi stuff involved, some ghost stuff. I don't remember, but it was a very Remedy type game with mysteries and supernatural stuff and stuff like that. Whereas Max Payne 3 was about a man who had a midlife crisis, went bald, grew a beard, moved to Brazil, and became a private detective. So two different, two totally different tones. I'm excited to see how this is going to turn out. It's definitely with games like these. I think it's always a good opportunity because they're so old and the graphics aren't as great, and what the developers intended to maybe show when they made the games didn't necessarily hold up when the final product came out. I think it's easier to come across now in the day and age that we live in, especially with all the new technology. Your thoughts on Max Payne?
Yeah, I think we're had pretty similar track record with these games where I didn't play. I actually don't. I mean, the first game came out so long ago. Like I might have played it a little bit just to slow motion jump and shoot things, but I don't remember playing Max Payne 1 that much. I definitely didn't play Max Payne 2. Um, and I know I think Remedy's a great studio. I just think for some reason they I just don't really enjoy the games that they develop. So never got into Max Payne 1 and 2. I tried Control and I just on paper it sounds like it's a perfect game for me, but like I just couldn't get into it. So
Yeah, that's one that
um
surprised me. I think Control would be your alley. It's got a weird mix of humor, dark humor, sci-fi stuff. So and it's a third-person action game. So I figured that was right up your alley. But I was surprised to hear that you wasn't really a big fan.
yeah. Um Same thing with Alan Wake. I just didn't really I never played Alan Wake, so to me what's interesting it's like it's a remake. What exactly does that mean? I know it's a word that gets used quite a bit, and sometimes it's unclear exactly, what like what the process is going to be. Is it actually like a remaster or is it genuinely a remake? I like to use Final Fantasy VII Remake as kind of like the benchmark of just like okay, it's got remake literally in the title,
And it's an
and
actual
it's
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 remade
it's like
completely.
it's a complete kind of remake and reimagining. It's not just the PS1 game that's like up-resed or anything like that. So in terms of what do I expect this remake to be for Max Payne 1 and 2, um, so if you look at the press release, I think what they're planning on doing is it's not going to be like two standalone SKUs. It's just going to be Max Payne 1 and 2 combined. Um, I think because of that, I'm expecting it to really just be they're more or less rebuilding exactly the games just inside of a new engine. Maybe there's like some quality of life stuff, but for the most part, I'm expecting them to basically just be like rebuilding in a modern engine. The games are also pretty short, if I'm remembering correctly. So I think they maybe kind of need to combine it into one, one SKU. Um, but yeah, other than that, so it's interesting. But like I'm probably, unless it's like just an absolute monster of a technical showpiece, like maybe I would pick it up. But I'm kind of expecting the games maybe don't hold up so well.
Yeah,
Uh, so I don't know. I'm probably not gonna buy it unless it's just like,
we'll just wait till it comes out
again,
on
like,
PlayStation Plus or something, or
yeah,
Xbox Game Pass.
it'll be on Game Pass. But yeah, I don't know. So it's Remedy. It's definitely, it's like, it's a studio. I think they do great work. It just for some reason doesn't click with me. And I have a similar thing with Naughty Dog, actually, where it's like, okay, they're clearly putting out unbelievable
Yeah,
games. I just
Uncharted,
don't.
Last of
I just
Us, and it
I just
doesn't
don't
work.
enjoy them. And although I keep buying them, but so they have my money, so
Yeah, I support you.
but I yeah, I support you, but I don't actually enjoy or complete any of your games. Uh, so yeah, that's my take on the Remedy thing.
All right. Another topic we wanted to discuss real quick was the BAFTAs, the British Academy of Film and Television Arts Awards. It happened this week. There was a lot of nominations, good games of the past year. We just wanted to bring it up real quick because, whenever these video game awards happen, you always want to kind of take a look at the list, give our own opinions on, was this a good choice? Was this a good winner? And the main thing that I got from it was Ratchet and Clank won a couple awards, well deserved. They are great over there at Insomnia Games. I love the Ratchet and Clank series. I played all the games. I played the most recent one. Definitely deserved it. They've innovated. They look so good. It's like a Pixar movie. The other one was Returnal. Returnal won Best Game, Best Audio Achievement, and music. And then also Jane Perry, who's the lead performer, who plays Celine, the main character of the game. She won Best Performer in a Leading Role. Uh, Returnal is a great game. I know Nick and I we've talked enough about it. You should definitely check it out. We have still yet to hit that new DLC, but we will be hitting it when we can, and give you guys our impressions on it. But I've been hearing good things. And then It Takes Two also won a couple. They won one for new IP, original property, and then multiplayer as well. Well deserved. So I think they make some good choices. What
Did
Anything stand
you
out for
did
you?
you so you beat, so It Takes Two has been winning a ton of Game of the Year awards. And did you end up beating that?
No, we Aaron and I are like 3 levels away. I've just been too
Yeah.
busy, and she's been busy, so we haven't.
Okay. But
Because
do you, but
we like to do it while we like to play the game and stream it because we streamed the whole thing, which you know it's kind of cool. It's good banter and stuff like that. We're gonna finish it soon, but go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask. So you've played the game. Does this make sense to you that it's like winning so many Game of the Year awards?
I would say yes, just because the story's been great. The gameplay mechanics are great. The controls are great, and Erin's not a big gamer. So playing the game with her and the ease of use that she's getting out of it, where it's not too difficult. Um, Obviously, she does get frustrated on some parts. The main thing being the camera. You also always have to shift the camera. Where we're used to it because we know we play video games, especially these newer games. You always got to switch the perspective as you're doing whatever you're doing. Whereas for her, it's something that she's not used to because she plays like The Sims or Nancy Drew games and stuff like that. Totally different things. But how easy it was for her to pick up and then also pick up every subsequent playthrough has been wonderful. And I think she loves the game. She loves the story. I love the game. I love the story. And it's a game that we can play together. Even if your partner isn't such a big gamer, I think it's a good game to just introduce them to and be like, hey, you want to play this together? So I think it's one. It's definitely deserved the awards. It's one, just like Returnal. On the other side of the coin, I think if it was Returnal winning like all these Game of the Year awards and stuff like that, I could also see that. Returnal and It Takes Two being the big heavy hitters, and then Ratchet and Clank being the other one. So you always hear those three games. You hear It Takes Two, Returnal, and Ratchet and Clank. And if you
And Deathloop,
and Deathloop, it's
that's so, not that it's award. It's not that it really matters that much because it's just
yeah,
awards, and I think it's really like the actual, the developers and being recognized among their peers. Like I think
yeah. I think that
that's
that makes more.
important.
Yeah,
So it doesn't, but at least like it doesn't really matter. But I was like, and I haven't played the game, so like maybe I played the game and it like blows me away, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's obviously game of the year. But based on what I've seen, I was like, really, is it like that? Is this like that good where it's just cleaning up everywhere? Um and then I found it odd that Deathloop was like nominated just everywhere for
yeah.
game of the year and like tons of other stuff, which I feel like something fishy is going on there.
But you don't see it
But
push as much as anymore as it was when it first came out the first couple months, especially during the holidays.
yeah, I feel like there's
Uh,
some marketing, like publisher marketing shenanigans going on
yeah,
there.
it didn't hold through. Whereas here,
Yeah,
you can kind of see which ones did hold through. I
yeah.
think you should definitely, if you get the chance, play with Layla. You should be like, hey, we should play It Takes Two. I'm pretty sure she'll enjoy it.
Okay, all right. Let me see if I can. Well, now
Also,
our thing is we're watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so now it's
yeah.
there's
Well,
competition now.
if you need like a palate cleanser of joyfulness.
Oh yeah,
Also,
that could be actually a good combination.
yeah. Also, if you want to you want to give more money to Joseph Fares and his studio just because he's a hilarious guy. Look up the his speech at the Video Game Awards when he was talking about I
The
forget that other
Oscars,
game.
yeah,
Yeah, when he was talking about the Oscars, it's a great little
yeah.
speech. Look it up.
Um, the other thing, so Ratchet and Clank, that's like I felt like that was another game where it's like it just seemed like it was more of the same. Like it looks
Oh yeah,
amazing, so
yeah.
it's more like a technical thing. But like, so I wonder, like, I just feel like there weren't. Was it the case that there just like wasn't that many great games that came out, and
No, I think more
like,
with Ratchet and Clank is just it's the first Ratchet and Clank PS5 games. Uh, it's a technological marvel, I would say, just because it does look like a Pixar movie.
yeah, it looks
You're
great.
playing a Pixar movie. They're known Insomniac. They're known for their creativity in terms of like weapons. Um, all the weapons that they've made in the Ratchet and Clank franchises have been pretty fun to use and play around with, which they then took and used when they did Sunset Overdrive, which was a third-person action game that they did for Xbox. That was also a fun game to play. So I think just the consistency that they've shown the last every game that they've released is the reason that they're up there. And it's a great game and it looks great. The story's great. They keep it fresh enough where even though it's the same series, I think they've made like 6 or 7 of these games. I still like playing them, and I still like understanding the story. It's a good platformer.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, I'll wait
yeah.
for that to be on PS Plus.
It should be. Yeah, I think you can get the.
You can get the old. I already have the
Yeah,
prior Ratchet and Clank releases on
yeah,
there already. Yeah.
they did like a re no, it wasn't a remake, it was a reimagining of the first one. Speaking of remakes and reimaginings and remasters, they did a reimagining of the first game but for PlayStation 4, which
Hmm.
if you have a PlayStation 4 you could get it for free, I think still, or you could have gotten it for free. And then I know you could get it on PlayStation 5 collection if you have a PS5. So check that out if you haven't. Definitely you won't regret it. Or if you have some kids or something like that, or a significant other that wants to play something kind of easy but fun, I would recommend it. All right. So that kind of does it for all the topics that we wanted to talk about on the episode. And we want to move on to some closing thoughts. I know last week we gave you a big doozy and you guys loved it. So,
What did
uh,
we do?
a doozy.
Yeah, but what was the doozy? I don't
Oh
even
no,
remember.
we did It's Always Sunny, we did the Batman, we did
Oh,
what else did we do?
it was a beefy. I used the word beefy.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. A
It was a
big
beefy
beefy.
closing thoughts.
Yeah, it was a beefy closing thoughts. We gave you a lot of things to watch, to play, stuff we've done. So yeah, we like this section a lot too, as much as we like talking about video games. We like talking about things we've watched and recommend to each other, and hopefully, you listeners and viewers can pick these up and enjoy them as well. You want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, isn't it great that you can now say viewers and
Not feel like an idiot.
it's factually correct because people can actually watch the show now. So that's
Well,
nice.
I always thought it was factually correct because I always felt our
Mm,
listeners could view me in their mind, in their mind's
no,
eye. My voice gets across where you're like, I can imagine what Hugo looks like, and you were
I
probably
bet,
right.
and I bet he has a creepy mustache.
Yeah, if you thought it's a middle-aged Hispanic man with a creepy mustache, you were right.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's been going on? So I actually haven't been actually because of the video. So someone actually needs to create and edit the video, and that person is me. So actually, I actually didn't get a ton of time to play games over the last week or so because I've actually been figuring out how to edit video.
Well, real quick,
Uh,
I just want to. So, if our for the listeners that don't know, this is a two-man project mostly. Like Nick and I, we had the podcast idea a couple years back. We decided to execute it this year, and we mostly do everything ourselves. Obviously, we have the our graphics from D Pass Design doing a great job, and then Nick's wife Layla does our intro music, and hopefully, down the road, any music we might need. But we mostly do everything ourselves. I started doing the audio editing from the first episode, and then when we decided to do video, Nick was like, I can take care of that. So he's been learning the video editing.
that's right. And there's a lot to learn. So, um, curious if anyone has any feedback or tips on best practices and video editing for podcast. But so yeah, that's been eating up quite a bit of time. I think I've figured it. There's still way more to do to improve on the video, but in terms of just getting something done that I think works for us. I think I figured out how to do that, so hopefully I'll become more efficient going forward, and I can start playing games again. And for people who are interested, I'm using DaVinci Resolve as the tool for actually editing the video. So I'm curious if anyone has any pointers on how to actually use DaVinci. But yeah, it's been fun.
We're learning. We're learning as we're going along. I think we're doing a good job. So uh, if you have any
I
tips,
I, I love Hugo's always just always talking about how good of a job we're doing on every episode. So
yeah, we're fucking awesome, man.
yeah, no, I like that. That's great. Um, so yeah, I haven't. I did play. On top of that, I guess I did get like a little bit of time to do some more adventuring in Elden Ring, but not a ton. So I'm still dabbling a little bit in that, but didn't get a chance to play too much. Uh, and yeah, in terms of stuff I'm looking forward to, we've talked about the Batman and just Batman in general, but also specifically the Batman movie that just came out. So we've talked about that over a couple of episodes, and yeah, I just saw that they announced that there's a Spotify exclusive podcast called Batman Unburied, which will be coming out on May 3rd. So yeah, I'm not like a big scripted podcast person by any means, but this one sounds pretty cool, and there's a ton of great talent attached to it. So there's first of all there's Winston Duke, who is going to be Bruce Wayne slash Batman. He was M'Baku in the Black Panther movies. He's
He was
awesome. So
also in Us. Us? Is it Us? The Jordan Peele movie Us. He was the main guy
oh
with
yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So he's great. So I'll be looking forward to his take on Batman, and then also more from like a gaming perspective. Ashley Birch is also in it, and she does tons of work in games. She's the voice of Aloy. Uh, she most recently is the voice of Tiny Tina in Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and then she's also in Mythic Quest. That's not a voiceover. That's actually just her as an actress in Mythic Quest, which is another great show. So big fan of hers as well. So she's doing Vicky Vale. And
Who
yeah,
people might
then there's like a
remember from the original Batman with Michael Keaton.
yeah, Kim Basinger was Vicky Vale in the original Batman movie, which I need to rewatch that movie. I've been watching random clips of Michael Keaton and that whole like I just need to rewatch that movie. I haven't watched that in years. So um,
Well, one other person I want to say was you have Lance Reddick, who a lot of people may know from John Wick, being the hotel manager, but he's also he plays Commander Zavala in Destiny. Very well known for that, and it's funny that he plays Silence, which is another character in Horizon Forbidden West, uh, who Ashley Birch plays Aloy. So pretty good coincidence.
got that team chemistry already.
Yeah,
Hope it comes through in the podcast.
nice.
So yeah, looking forward to that. How about you? What's going on with you?
My first closing thought is I've been watching the show. It's called Severance. It's on Apple Plus. One of the few shows that I would recommend getting Apple Plus for, besides Ted Lasso, um,
And Mythic Quest.
and Mythic Quest. So it's basically like the premise is this company can basically erase your memory of when you're working. So it stars um, Adam Scott as this guy who goes to work, and for those 8 hours of his day, from like 9 to 5 or whatever time he works, he's he's still himself. He just has no memory of his outside life. So they call him an innie and an outie, like your belly button. uh, it's a good premise because the people that work inside don't know about their outside lives. So they could have kids, they could be married, they could be single or whatever. They don't know about that, and then the people outside don't know about their inside lives. So it's a pretty good premise. It takes a little bit to pick up, 1 or 2 episodes, but I think the mystery hooks you enough, and it does ramp up. I would say like episode 6 or 7, it starts ramping up, and you start getting more hype for it. And I think the finale just aired on Friday. Uh, it's 9 episodes. I think it sticks the landing. They just renewed it for another season. If you're looking for something to watch, Severance on Apple Plus, definitely recommend it. And then the other thing I want to talk about is League of Legends. So I know one of my early predictions was that I was gonna early goals for the year was that I was gonna try and get to gold in League of Legends, which have not been doing any of that because I've
That
been
was
busy.
before you were an MMO fan.
Yeah, that was before I was an MMO fan, before Elden Ring came out, before Destiny came out. Too many things happened. I can still probably do it. We'll have to see. But anyways, so right now it's in all the League of Legends regions. It's the spring playoffs. So you have the LCK, which is in Korea, the LPL in China, the LEC in Europe, the LCS in America, and then you have other regions. They're doing the spring finals. I just watched the LCK spring finals. A lot of our listeners and viewers might know about Faker. He's this popular known um, mid laner for T1. He's basically one of the world's biggest esports stars. He's always won a lot of awards for being the esports star of the year. He just won, his team T1 just won the spring final in LCK, which was awesome. It's his 10th because he's always been with the same team, T1. It's his 10th win and also his team's 10th win, which is kind of weird because, especially with all these esports, you see a lot of teams get like reset, so you get different players coming in. But he's been with the same team. That's how good he is. He's been with the same team for 10 years, and he's still a very popular person. And next month, in the month of May, they're going to be doing the MSI, the Mid Spring Invitational, which is where they get all the regions, all the finalists and semifinalists from the regions, and they go out and they compete against each other to see who's the spring champion. So that's going to be pretty cool. I know I love watching competitive league just to pick up some tips and just see how a good coordinated team does it. But also because the world's finals, not the finals, but the semifinals are going to be in New York come October, November. So I'm definitely planning to attend that. I know a couple of my friends are planning to come up here, maybe make like a big group of it. So I'm excited for that. They're doing North America. I believe they're doing Canada, Mexico, San Francisco, and New York, different rounds for the finals, for the world's finals. So just, getting hyped for that. And we love watching esports, so I thought that's always good. I can put the link down the road once the spring final starts if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, so that's it for the episode. If it's your first time watching us on video, welcome. This is what we look like. You can either be happy or sad, but just accept it.
Yeah, I wonder how many dislikes or how many thumbs down we're gonna get now.
Yeah, my mustache I hope doesn't get any thumbs down. Love the mustache, guys. But be sure to be on the lookout for our Pets of Pressing Buttons video. It'll be uploaded as soon as possible, hopefully by Monday or sometime during the week. And then also make sure to join the Discord, join the Pressing Buttons community. We love to have everybody come in. We're expanding. Come talk to us, guys. Any last thoughts, Nick?
No, I think that's it.
All right. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick. Later.